Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel. Welcome to those of you who are new. We've got over 1,000 of these available for your listening pleasure, variety of topics, and we continue to add several times per week. My goal is to get to 1,250 or so by the end of the year. That's my goal anyway. Who knows if my schedule will allow that. Hopefully, I continue to be busy and my schedule doesn't allow it, but that doesn't mean that I don't value the time I spend with each and every one of you. But if you're looking for coaching and or to get past some emotions that aren't, you know, getting you to a good place here, it can be super valuable to do that in a way that makes sense for you. Also, many people deal with things like anxiety, depression, or other challenges when they're younger and they don't realize it. And so there are, kind of um, ways to get to a better space there. And when we begin to understand how to do that, we can begin also to get better quality of life. Sometimes your emotions get the better of you. They don't have to. You can neurologically kind of reset your mind, but doing that does take a certain level of discipline and a certain level of um, self compassion. And so, what are some signs, though, that you've been dealing with potential depression in a younger stage to where it might have shaped how you see the world? The first is you take on blame or you blame others for everything. So the blame game is the absence of personal responsibility, and a person who's depressed lives a lot in the if things were this way, then I'd feel better. If someone did this, then I'd be better off. If someone didn't do this, then I'd be better off. So the personal responsibility drops to an all-time low. The blaming of other people for as reasons or for reasons of causing emotional pain or torment or whatever becomes really high, and then all of a sudden what begins to happen is your anger goes through the roof. A person who deals with a lot of tantrums, anger, outbursts, rage, um, just violent mood swings. These individuals may have been dealing with depression for months or years before they even sought any sort of treatment, before they even realized it was a problem. And then what they don't realize is their brain is naturally wired within the first 17 to 64 seconds of any given moment. So basically, within about 17 seconds, so that's about a quarter of a minute, a little bit more, to just over a minute, they can change their mood. And if their natural proclivity is towards negativity, towards anger, towards frustration, that's where they're going to go, even if they don't consciously have a reason to or consciously know that's where they're going. The next is there will be physical pain that comes out of nowhere in kind of a coping mechanism for all of this. And that becomes super valuable, super needed. And so when we begin to see pain coming out and there's nothing medically wrong, that's where kind of the idea of psychosomatic comes from, or psychosymptomatic comes from. The idea is your body begins to have difficulties with physical pain that doesn't have a clinical medical diagnosis. Now, obviously, there are rare occasions, things like Guillain-Barré, things like fibromyalgia, things like certain muscular challenges and difficulties can all cause these things. But the problem is, if there isn't a medical diagnosis, but the pain is real for the person, it may be that they had extended periods of depression when they were younger, and it kind of carried over into how their body is. Difficulty maintaining, keeping, and or focusing on interpersonal relationships is another sign. People who struggle with depression don't have the energy, nor the follow through, nor the wherewithal, nor the desire to maintain healthy relationships. So then what begins to happen is when they finally do kick out of the depression, they almost go back through a linear cycle of it, because now they want friends, but they didn't maintain the relationships. They didn't build the relationships thereby they're lonely. So now they're feeling worse about themselves and put themselves right back into a cycle. Changing of behavior is necessary in order to give that freedom. The next is they lack motivation. So the inability to have motivation, the inability to stay motivated, the inability to follow through because motivation is about follow through just as much as it is about what we do. It's also about how often we do it, how consistently we do it, and beginning to understand the value of that is one of the most important things that any person can do, should do, or might do. And beginning to understand the value of that. And then a person anchors into having no hope or very little hope. Having hope is a requirement for recovery, because if we don't have hope in something, even in the possibility of positive change in a way that we don't see, that can be extremely difficult. So hopefully this is helpful. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.